Hello, welcome to another video here on learning about Shopify. So in today's video, I'm going to focus on the overview and build an example apps from the docs here. So I'm going to learn about the patterns, components, and features that are common in Shopify, as well as how to build the frontend, the backend, and then how to connect each other. Okay, so in the build an example app like this, so about the QR code example app, so we have designed the QR code app to demonstrate some patterns, components, and features that are common in Shopify apps. So the QR code apps address a real-world merchant needs and integrate seamlessly with the Shopify admin user interface. So users can perform crew operations: create, read, update, and delete. Okay. So the components library. So the app uses Shopify App Bridge and Polaris components library. So the App Bridge enables the app to communicate with the Shopify admin, and the App Bridge also renders important UI elements of your app outside of the app iframe. Okay, so this is the two things that the App Bridge allows. For example, here, this is the component libraries. But before going here, let me take a quick recap of this. Okay, about the QR code example. About the about the QR code example. About the QR code example. Okay, the example app. That's right. Here. So the whole point of this is to demonstrate. Okay. So the app use the app use the Shopify bridge, the Shopify app bridge. Okay, the Shopify app bridge and Polaris component libraries. Okay, so the Shopify admin or the app bridge, here the app bridge like this. So the app bridge, okay, is because it's D and after and G. The app bridge enables apps to communicate with Shopify admin. So enables apps to communicate with Shopify admin. Okay, is this enables apps to communicate with Shopify admin and renders important UI element for your apps. Render important UI important UI element in your app. Okay, and also renders important UI elements for your app. Outside of the app iframe. And Polaris here is the UI component. So Polaris here is a component of collections. Polaris components, a collection of interface elements that can be reused across Shopify systems. UI system design, okay, or the Shopify UI system design, okay. It's a Shopify UI system design. I don't think this is quite accurate. The Shopify UI system design. In fact, this is a collection of interface. Exactly, collections of interface elements that can be reused across the Shopify system. That can be reused across the Shopify system. Okay. So is the UI component library for Shopify apps. Okay. So again, this is the components. Okay. And the whole point of this about the code, the app here. So the app here used the app Bridge Polaris component library. Okay. Which is here. So this app demonstrate some common patterns, components, and some common patterns, components, and features in Shopify apps. Okay, so this is the whole point of this QR code example app. So this app demonstrates some common patterns, components, and features in Shopify apps. The app uses the Shopify app bridge and Polaris component. So again, the app bridge allows to communicate with the Shopify admin as well as render important UI elements. And Polaris is a collection of elements, it's a collection of interface elements that can be reused across the Shopify system. It can be reused across the Shopify system. Okay. So, you can follow the tutorial series to build a QR code example app. As you work through the tutorial series, you will create some files and add the code step by step, and you will create the frontend and UI first, followed by the backend instructions, and the last step is to connect the frontend to the backend to make it all work. Okay, now the first step is to build the app. Okay, so this actually is made of this tutorial series. Okay, the tutorial series here. Okay, the tutorial series, which is build the app frontend. Okay, so build the app frontend. Okay, so build the app frontend. Okay, something like this without this. Build the app frontend. I was going to add some text format here. Okay, so build the app frontend. So in this section is part of a larger tutorial to build a QR code example app. You need to read the overview section before starting this task. Okay, at the end of the section of the tutorial, the front-end app will be completed and you will be able to see it working using mock data. So in this section, you will use Node, React, Shopify App Bridge, Polaris to build your app front. Okay, important here. So what you will learn. Okay. so what you will learn here, so the frontend consists of 3 pages. Okay, so in this section you're gonna use this, so Node, React, Shopify, App, Brigde, and Polaris components to build your app frontend. And the frontend consists of 3 pages. The app homepage, use the Polaris list components to display safe QR codes. The create QR code page, which enable app users to create a new QR code, okay, that targets either a product or a popular card. Add a discount code to the QR code, preview the QR code destination, and download the QR code as an image file. Holy moly. Okay. And the other is the edit QR code page. So enable app users to modify and delete existing QR code. Okay, but the first page, the home page, is going to render the list of safe QR codes. Okay. The create QR code, it would enable the app users to create a new code that targets either a product page or popular card. Okay, so that QR code will target a product page or a popular card and add a discount code to the QR code. Add a discount code to the QR code, preview the QR code destination, and download the QR code as an image file. And the edit QR code page, that is this. Okay. All right. Okay. Uses to create QR code for certain products and track the number of a scan for each QR code. Okay, so keep looking at the front end here. So step 1, start your development server. Okay, let's go to, I already have that development server running, up and running, by the way. Okay, so if I press P, a preview URL should appear. Okay, in this case it's not working. Interesting. What about if I hit P again? Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Well, let's go to rerun that command. Perform PnP def. Okay. Current app URL, current redirect URL, always by default. So if I now take a look here at the code, so the prompt tells me, hey, have Shopify automatically update your app URLs in order to create a preview experience. So current app is this, always by default. Yes, this time. Okay, so Shopify automatically update the app's URL for live preview. Okay, yeah, use this always by default. Now, if I hit P and then go back to the browser, there you go. Right, I already installed this luxury text store. All right, cool. Luxury text store, that's right. Okay, cool. So next, step 2, add an empty state and loading markup to the app home page. So the home page is the first page of the app user interact with when they open an app. So to start, you will create a custom empty state for this page. So in this case, I'm going to record this as well as keep track here because I'm focusing on the client, by the way. What the client actually is paying me is not only for the learning experience, but also to solve their problems, to fix some small issues, and then provide features that customers need. Okay, so step 2, add an empty state and loading markup to the app homepage. So add an empty state and loading markup. Two things. So the homepage is the first page that the app user interact with when they open an app. To start, you will create a custom empty state for this page. So the empty state display in the home page where there are no saved QR codes. That's right, and act as an introduction to the app for new users. The empty state include a button that let user create a new QR code. Okay. You can also include loading markup on the home page to indicate to users that your app is loading count. Something trivial for web applications, right? So define an empty state within a loading state or a loading markup. Okay, the home page empty state and loading markup use the following components. So we strongly recommend clicking through the documentation for each component to understand what they are and how they use it. So if I take a look at here, use navigate, title bar, and loading. Okay, again, remember that this is a component that allows to communicate your app with the Shopify admin, and Polaris, it provides a collection of UI elements. You have the car. Okay, so this is by taking a look at the app bridge and actions, navigations. Okay. Shopify app bridge introduced a new concept of action. An action provides a way for applications and hosts to trigger event with a payload. Okay. Use the action with plain JavaScript or take advantage of the app bridge React library. This page provides an overview of both approach. Using CDN hosted app bridge. All of the example code should function as is. Okay, with plain JavaScript or from the Shopify here. Because after all, they're injecting that. Simple actions. Both hosts, such as the Shopify admin or the Shopify POS, and apps get dispatch actions. Important things to know here. Both hosts, such as the Shopify admin or Shopify POS, and apps can dispatch actions. Example code. This example demonstrates the app setup and dispatching and redirect action. Important, the create app function from Shopify/app bridge and the redirect from Shopify/app bridge/action. Then use the create app function to create an app. App dispatch a remote redirect action. Okay. After certain configuration. Example code with plain JavaScript or with React. Using app bridge React with Polaris. Okay. But again, the whole point of this is to gain high level concepts. Yeah, the whole point of this is to gain this high level concept. Okay. Alright. Okay. So it's from the app bridge, okay, and you got a title bar and the loading. Interesting. So it's these actions that provide by the app bridge, like this. So the Shopify app bridge apps enables the Shopify to render outside of the usual app surface and communicate with the rest of the Shopify admin. Okay. So plain JavaScript, React components. Okay, this is just describing this component. Okay, the title and the loading. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. And Polaris, which is this collection. Exactly. And Polaris, which is this collection of and Polaris, which is this collection skeleton tabs, feedback indicator, badge, and section list. Is this collection of UI components, data tables, index table, action list, description list, list box. Okay, footer help, full screen bar, link, navigation, pagination. So okay, all of this, right? Also, it provides you with React or HTML. Of course, React is much more succinct because it already have the component pagination. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay. Okay. Cool. So Polaris is this collection of UI elements that can be reused across Shopify system in the app bridge that allows to communicate your app with the Shopify admin and render some essential, which is here, and render some essential UI components. So for example, car. Okay. Interesting. So for example, car, contextual save bar, features. No, but this is, for example, contextual save bar, app state, full screen. Okay, loading, like this, navigation, POS, point of sale, for closing the app when running in Shopify POS, and for retrieving information about Shopify POS. Scanner, title bar, interesting, and toes. Okay, bro, right. Okay. So now things started to make sense. Interesting. Okay, so create your home page with an empty state. Open the web frontend page index.js because there are multiple files named index.js, and ensure that you're working in the correct index.js. Okie dokie. So back to the code here. Like this. Okay. So now if I go back here to the code, oh come on man, update the current state for that please. That's right. So here, okay, so let me check that we are in the proper root, the proper folder. That's right, web frontend page / index.jsx. Okay, and then he mentioned delete the content of the file, add the following code. Okay, so let's go to add the following code. So let me show here. So delete the content of the file and add the following code. Alright, so let me copy this and switch to the code here. So here what it's doing is using the Shopify admin, the Shopify app bridge from React. Title bar, user translation, trophy image, product cards, and then it's going to render if this, right? Layout, the app bridge, Polaris link, admin API link, app bridge link. Okay. Stack items, layout sections. Okay. So this is what is rendering at the home page. Okay. This is what it is rendered at the home page, right? Yeah, at the home page, this is what is home page heading. In here you have a translation components and something called the product counter here. Home page letter more, and you got an image here and product card component, right? So product card contain is this. So handle populate, and it will render is this, right? So toast markup and render this kind of content. Product card description, and there you got it. Okay, but for the sake of the example here, it's going to delete the content and replace with this code. All right. So if I save this, okay, and now go to the browser, I should be able to look at this, the QR code, create QR code, and an empty state, right? Awesome. So let me close this as well as this, and here you can see is what is the content of this code, right? So because the following is the function or this module JavaScript, right? So on the home page, so they have add a app bridge, use navigation hook to set up the navigation function. This function modifies the top level browser URL. You can navigate within the embedded app and keep the browser in sync on reload. So you have the navigate, use navigate. These are mock values. Setting this value lets you preview the loading markup and empty state. It's loading, it's refetching, and QR code. Loading markup use the loading component from app bridge and component from Polaris. So loading markup is loading, card sectioning, loading, skeleton body text. Okay, so it's loading this this piece of code, or in this case this markup. And use Polaris card and empty state components, empty state markup, to define the content of an empty state. So if this is not loading, and if it's loading and if there is no QR code, so you're gonna show is this card sectioning, empty state, like this. All right, there you got it. Create a unique QR code for your product. This button will take the user to create a QR code page. That's right. So you navigate to that. Interesting here. So you're navigating to that, and it provides you an image to there, right? Allow customer to scan codes and buy products using their phone. This is an empty state. Okay. Use Polaris page and title bar components to create the page layout and include the empty state content set above. Okay, after all, what they're doing is just using the atomic design. Okay, so creating is this markup, the loading screen, and then the empty state as well as the layout. Okay, inside of this component. Okay, so your browser, you should be able to verify that the loading markup appears, which is right. So in web frontend page index, set is loading to false. So if we set is loading to false, okay, which is the empty state, we should now be able to look at this. Create a QR code, create unique QR code for your products, allow customers to scan product and buy product using their phones. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Step 3, create a QR code form. The QR code form components enable user to create and edit QR codes. The form enables user to do the following: select a product for the QR code, select whether the QR code will point to a product page or populate a cart, include a discount code in the QR code, preview the QR code destination. But there's several things here. Download the QR code as an image file and delete a QR code. This is all the options that the form will enable. So select a product for the QR code, select whether a QR code will point to a product page or a popular cart, include a discount code in the QR code, preview the QR code destination, download the QR code as an image file, and delete the QR code. So add a dependency. Here you need to add the Shopify React form to your dependencies, and it is used to manage React form by providing custom hooks and if therefore required to build your form components. So in the terminal, navigate to your apps directory and then navigate to the web front directory, okay, which is the root folder here. So if I go back to the code, there you got it. I navigate to the front end, and then using this option from Performance PnP, install Shopify/React form. Okay. Okie dokie. Great. So with that, now go back to the browser. So create the form component, and there is a lot of okay. So the form components use the following components. So component library of or package from React. So use state, you use callback, but this is now for React. Polaris using the banner, card, form layout, text field, button, choice list, select, thumbnail, icons, index table, stack, text, layout, and empty state. App bridge, again, which allows to communicate. So app bridge will allow you to communicate. Holy moly. So the React is this JavaScript framework that allows to build UI interface. Polaris is this UI, or this collection of UI elements that can be reused across Shopify system. The app bridge is what allows you to communicate your app with the Shopify admin, as well as provide important UI elements that will be rendered, which is something that mentioned, render important UI elements for your app outside of the app iframe. And then Polaris icons, which is image major and alert minor. Hooks, use authentication fetch. This is a custom hook that include in the Shopify Notes app template and the Shopify React form. Use form and use field. Okay, which after all are functions here. A custom hook for managing the state of the entire form. Use forms wraps up to many other hooks. This package is in one API. Use form. But again, I'm assuming that this is something holy. Wait, what? What? This is Shopify React form. Oh my god, okay. Alright, use list, use dynamic list, data, use reset, use submit, validation inline multiple, dependency built-in validator, things like that. Utilities, reduce, field, get value, get data values, fields to array, make clean fields. Alright, okay. So Shopify React forms. Holy moly. Interesting. Okay. So in the web frontend components directory, create a file called QR code form.js. So let's go to here, back to the code. Okay, let's go to navigate to there, to the components. Okay, and let's go to create is. Oh, but because no, I already have another folder here for this, because that was something I used before, but let me remove that. So I did that in a previous example, but let me remove that folder in a recursive way, so there is no so avoid any misunderstanding. Alright, so navigate to that URL here instead of the components, and it's in here that I'm going to create is this component. Okay, so instead of this, create the QR code form.js, and now copy and paste the following code here, which is a huge component. Holy moly, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so let's going to take a look here. So what it's doing is using the React as well as the Polaris from Shopify, the app bridge, okay, and image major alert minor from Shopify Polaris icons here. Import the use authentication fetch hook, including in the no apps template from hooks, including in the hooks templates. Okay, use authentication fetch. A hook that returns an aware fetch function. The return fetch function that matches the browser's fetch API. Add Shopify access token header to the request. Okay, check the response to Shopify API request failure reauthorize header and redirect the user to the reauthorization URL if their header is present. Okay, use authentication fetch, but this is specific for Shopify. Okay, import custom hooks for forms. That's right. And defining is the cons. So no discount options, label no discount, as well as the value. The discount code available in the store. This variable will only have a value after retrieving this code from the API. Discount code, export function keyword form. Okay, so this is where you get from the initial keyword code, which is something that you're going to inject that. Okay, that you're going to get is the keyword code and set keyword code, show results, use state. Okay, defining is the state or this reactive reference. Fetch, use authenticator fetch, keyword code, product and title, deleted product. Then you got on submit, and you define, this is the placeholder function that is triggered when the user hit the save button. It will be replaced by different functions when the frontend is connected to the backend. Okay, just to print that out. Okay, set up form state with the user form hook. A set fields object that set up each individual fields with a default value and validation rules. Returns a fields object that is structured to access each of the fields individually, so they can be used in other part of the components. Return helper to manage form state, as well as component state that is based on form state. Okay, but this is for the exact set up the form state with the use form hook. All right, so counts field, handle discount code, destination, as well as the validation rules: dir, reset, submitting, submit, make clean, which is something that you're going to return from the. Okay, this is the object that you're gonna get for the use form. Okay, and you're gonna pass this object. Okay, where you're going to evaluate that, not empty stream, and things like this. Okay, use field, and on submit. So counts QR code URL code QR. This is to generate a new URL to that string. And this function is called with the selected product whenever the user click add in the resource picker. It takes the first item in the selection array and set the selected product to an object with the property from the selection argument. It updates the form state using the onChange method on the form field. Resource picker. In the resource picker. This is a component. I'm assuming that this is a component. Exactly. Resource picker from this. Okay. Holy hell. So resource picker. Okay. Resource picker. It updates the form state using the onChange methods. Okay, the resource picker. For that, the function update the form state when a user select a new discount option. The function is called when a user clicks select product. This is placeholder function that is triggered when the user hits the delete button. The array is used in the select field in the form to manage discount options. It will be extended when the frontend is connected to the backend and the array is populated with discount data from the store. Okay, so it will be populated with that data. The function runs when a user clicks the Go to Destination button. Okay, this function runs when a user clicks on Go to Destination button. It uses data from the app bridge context as well as form state to construct destination URL using the URL helpers you create. These variables are used to display product image and will be populated when image URL can be retrieved from the admin. The form layout created using Polaris and app bridge component. This is where you create that. Delete product and the banner, the layout which contains the form for this. Contextual save bar, save action, discard, and form layout. Holy moly. Okay. Alright, no problem. Okay. And this is build a URL to select products and product checkout URL. And build a URL to check out that contains the selected products and build a URL to builds a URL to selected products, builds a URL to check out that contains the selected product. Okay. All right. So back to the browser here. Okay. Where we are is here. They create the QR form. Okay. Include the 4 components in the components index. So update the app's component index to export the QR code form component that you created. Meaning, go to the front-end component index and then export that. Okay. So back to the code. Here we already are in the components index. All right. And here's we're going to export a component. Okay. So we're going to export a component for that. Meaning, which is export from the QR code form.ex. all right, and here it wants to get the QR code form like that. Okay, so export that. Okay, and we create is the QR code form. Now, step 4, create the QR code page. An app can contain several pages. Okay, so first you create is the empty state and the loading markup, as well as the create QR code. And now how can we navigate to that form? Okay, create a QR code page. This is how you navigate to this. So an app can contain several pages. The QR code app has 2 pages in addition to the index. Next, you will add the new and ID page. Each page contains a QR code form component that you created in the previous step. So this route will be used to create QR codes and the URL path. And this route will be to visit or edit or view or edit existing QR code, where ID is the unique identifier for the QR code. All right. Okay, but this is on the page here. Okay, on the under page folder, you're going to create is the QR code for create new QR codes, and on the page folder, you're going to create QR codes to create this existing QR code. Okay. Next, you will add the new and ID page. Each page contains the QR code form component that you created in the previous step. So, about routing in the Node apps templates, the Node app template use file-based routing. Correct, alright? To make creating new page easy, and any JS file that you add to web page front page becomes an URL. Each of these files must contain a default export that is a component. If the URL entering in the apps can be matched to a file in the page directory, then page/not found is rendered. This functionality is powered by Vite import meta block and React router. Okay. So then remove the template example page. Okay. So the Node app templates contains an example page. You can delete this page and remove the navigation menu component from the app. Since it won't be used by the QR code example, from the web frontend page directory, delete the page name JS. Okay, so let's go to delete this page. JS, in this case, the page name JS. So delete that. All right. Open the web frontend app. So the entry point of your frontend. Okay. And remove the navigation menu. So this is how it should look like. Okay, so let me copy this. And if we go back to the code here, come on, here. You go back to the code here. So you're going to replace with this, the entire return tag. Okay. The page is removed from the sidebar and add a page to create new QR code. Okay. And add a page to create new QR codes, components, title bar, and Polaris page. Page layout and app components. The QR code form you create in a previous steps. In the /web frontend page directory, create a new directory called QR codes. In the new directory, create a new file called new.js and add the following code. Alright, so this is when we're going to add the navigation. So here on the page, this is where we're going to add a new file called new.js. Okay, example here, new.js, and add the following code, which is the page as well as the title bar and the QR code form that we built. Where we actually copy and paste that code, but yes. Alright, so page and the title bar, and this is if you want to render using the page Shopify Polaris component. Okay. So back to the browser here. So if you're in your browser, from the app homepage, click create QR code to navigate to the new QR code page. So an empty form appears and you can set a title, select a product, view the QR code, destination. Alright, so let me save this. Now go to the proper folder like this, where here inside of the web is where I'm going to run the dev environment. Something crash. Okay. Should I? Okay. Should I render this inside of the front? Oops. Okay, should I render this inside of the? So, should I render this? Is here. So is performing npm run dev. Okay, it's in the root folder that I want to run this. Okay, and now if I go back to the front end, the step 4, which is right below this. Okay, and if I hit on the terminal P, now I should be able to load that. So luxury text store here. If I go here, so I will try to open this. Interesting. What about if I reload this app here? Okay. Yeah, it's some conflict. There was some conflict with 2 browser tabs open. Okay. If I close this and press P again. Alright. So I click here on the luxury text store. For some reason, okay, but that was my bad. Okay, that was my bad. No, accept that. Yeah, completely. What about if I hit P again? Okay, luxury test store, and is this because I include a component that is not in there. Interesting. For some reason it's like it's not loading this. correct. Okay. So if I rerun that, so right now I have an issue is with the component that I make here. So if I press P, okay, and I want to access the luxury test store, okay, and if I want to click and access to this, it throw an error here like this, because this is on the page new, my friend. So page new, that's right, exactly. I don't think this is interesting, but okay. Wait a single moment. Um, I already exported this on the components index. Okay, I already exported this in the component index. Okay, I modify is the app.js like that. And here I'm adding is this under the page. Okay, I create a new file called new.js. Okay, that is not able to load that, which is puzzling. Which is puzzling. Interesting. It's like for some reason it's not keep tracking of this. Okay. Is there anything? Let me create a new component here. So QR code form .jsx. If I paste this, and on the index is QR code form. Okay, and if I want to load that here, okay. So if I go to the preview URL and I want to load this application in my store, but I think this is something that I don't know, for some reason the components here is like it's not able to detect that. Why you are not able to detect that, my friend? Exactly. It's because the model is not loading the proper model for that. It's not loading the proper model. Okay, now it is loading. Okay, when you go to create QR code, the page is not addressed, but you can navigate to that without doing that, right? So the QR codes, create new code. Create QR codes, new code for this. Okay. However, because we're using is this, an empty form appears and you can set a title to select a prototype for that. Create new code QR. Okay. This is puzzling to me. Okay. Okay, I already delete the page name.js, right? So there is no page name.js. However, there is a page called new. Here what I did is just to replace this on the default function from the app, right? That's all what I did here, which is on the front end here. That's all what I did is just to replace that and remove the navigation menu. So we're not going to use that navigation menu here. Okay, so the only thing that I did is this. Okay, so I copy is this code to our template, and for some reason when I load this, it's supposed to render is that. In your browser, from the app home, click on the create QR codes, navigate the new QR create codes. However, when I navigate to that create QR code, it says, hey, this actually doesn't exist. And it's pretty fucked up because it's supposed to. But it says, hey, the QR code that you're trying to import is not there. Exactly, the QR code that you're trying to import is not there. So I export this component and I create this component under here, QR code form. So the front-end components, QR code form. Okay. And I export that here. I export that properly. All right. And I'm exporting that properly from the component index here, and the component index here. Okay. Then on the navigation, it says okay, it's because create a new directory called QR code. Exactly. What happened here is that I missed to create is something like this. So new folder called QR code, where inside of this is where I'm going to add the new JS, and now everything's supposed to work as expected. Okay, so if I now go back here, I should be able to see exactly that. All right, cool, awesome. So the next step is add a page to edit QR code. Okay. So here we're going to create is a folder under the QR code page. We're going to create is a file like this with this content. Where here this is when we can see our mock data here, or to preview a QR code or edit. So now if I navigate to that, so for example, if I go and navigate to the Firefox, okay, and I say, hey, you know what, it's going to navigate to this URL, QR code 1, in this case 1. So load that 1. All right, and it should be able to load that. Interesting. And here you can see the title, the product, and the discount for that when it comes to edit that price, as well as the QR code. Interesting. Very, very interesting. If you set is loading to false to preview the page load populated with the placeholder data and refresh the page. Set is loading in the QR here under this file. Please go here under this file. Set is loading to false. All right, so we can see the and edit a product. Okay, so one of them is the preview. Okay, so one of them is to see is a product loading an empty state loading a QR code, and the other is actually watching a QR code loaded. All right, okay, so here add a list component to the home page. That's going to add the dependency here. So go back to the web frontend and install is these two libraries. Okay, please do. And this is all the components that we're going to use in the entry point, the app bridge. Use navigate, Polaris car, icon, index table, stack, text, thumbnail, unstyled link. Okay, the Polaris icon, Shopify React hook, use media, and the JS for showing the date in a user-friendly format. Okay. Got it. Done. Now on the components, this is where we're going to create a new file called QR index to see the list of QR codes. Okay, so back to the code here. So we're going to create is under component folders the QR code index to see the list of components, and right below here we're gonna copy is this entire code base. Okay, that's right. So take a look at this. Here is importing is the use navigate from the app bridge from Shopify, as well as some components here like Shopify Polaris from the collection of UI element that can be reused across Shopify. And Shopify Polaris icons use media. Use media is used to support multiple screen size. Date.js is used to capture and format the date a QR code was created or modified. Markup for small screen size mobile. Small screen card. Okay, markup for small screen mobile. Discount, create, navigate. Alright. And export the function QR code index, where you're gonna pass it to QR code and the loading state. Okay, check if the screen is small. Okay. Map over QR code for a small screen, where you're gonna render all of this for small code. Small screen cards, which actually comes from the Shopify Polaris. All right, small screen card here, which is something that inside of this component was created. Okay, this is small screen card. And then you're going to import that and render that data. Map over the QR for small screen. Okay. Comes row markup. So to map that. And then the form layout created using Polaris components. Holy hell. And then you're going to return is this card index table, where this index table here and as well as truncate. All right. Okay, so after that, okay, now once you build a component, it is time to include that on the index component. Okay, so under the index component, all right, and include the list component in the home page. So add the following code, import the QR code index, the component in the entry point of your web app, okay, which is the entry point here of your web app, okay, and set the QR code to use in the list. Add a variable to set the QR codes directly after the counts QR codes, okay. So after the variable QR code list, add this variable to set the QR code to use in the list. Okay, if there are any QR codes, well, you're gonna render the QR code index completely. All right. Include the QR code index markup in your page, and add full width and add QR markup. So before and after, which is something that you're gonna add here at the end of the index, which is here. So when you're gonna return here. Okay. So the file should look like this. And test the list components with mock data here with the following data. Because a complete file. So if you want to copy here with the QR codes and now append that to that with mock data. Okay. And now in our browser, we should be able to see the following script. Okay. So there's some error here. No problem. It's because we're not running the application. That's what happens, so no problem. Performing npm run dev environment. Okay. And there you got it. So press P to look at this. The luxury test store. You open here. And there you got it. So we're able to see is this list. Holy moly. Alright. Click one of the QR code editing and edit the QR code page low with the same placeholder data from the previous steps. So if you take a closer look at this, alright, and edit data, it actually loads that QR code, deleted product, fade shirts. Okay. And it also use the navigation on the client side. Alright. Click on the one of QR code listing and edit the QR code page load with the same placeholder data from the previous step. So alright. So that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.